So the system is now installed, and if you go to your File Explorer and go to your Documents folder, there's going to be, first of all, there's going to be a new folder called Testing. But you see this here? We can delete this if you want to delete it. Go ahead and delete it if you want to go get rid of it. And if you need to get it back, you can always, you can just go back to the downloads folder and, bring that zip file back in and extract it all and run it from there. Always run it from the documents folder that if you have to install it, okay? Now here's the testing folder, and the most important thing in here is this thing is ordered by name to be like in order here, so that you'll know what to look at. And actually I just use the file name, so make sure you order these by name here, these file names, that way you can see what's really in here. The most important thing here is the first one here to look at is when it says 0_A, how to run activate. It's kind of like a read me first kind of thing. Let's go ahead and click that, look at some documentation a little bit before we actually show the system. We can go over some stuff in here. The first thing in here, it talks about every file that's in this folder. It describes what it is, okay? And then it goes ahead and it talks about the configuration, okay? And the basic configuration, there's basically three kinds of programs that run in this system, okay? One is called a server program, like a game server, like a craps game server or something like that. I don't know if we can see this, man. And if you can run several games concurrently, let's say you'll run a game of craps, and you'll run a game of crapless craps, and you also run a game of 3-dice craps all at the same time, which is that's what the system's all about. In that case, you would have 3 of these running, okay? And there's another type of a program called the dealer program. And the dealer program, he's got a list of all the games that he's actually operating. So dealer program, he may operate one-to-many game servers, all right? And then the other kind of program is the player program. And players, they can play, well, they only play one game at a time. Now the dealers, they can deal to more than one game at a time. Well, players only play one game at a time. When they're playing a game, it's like in a casino. You walk up to a craps table, you'll play it, and when you're done, you can walk across the aisle to play some roulette or whatever you want to do. But you only play one at a time. But in this system, a dealer can actually deal more than one game at a time. All right, now players, they've got a list of now when a player, when he's done with playing one game, he can then go to a different game. So he's got a list of games he can play. So the player has got a list of game servers he can play one at a time. The dealer's got a list of game servers he operates, and each game server runs one game, okay? And it obviously can be operated by typically by one dealer at a time, and can service more than one player at a time. Now here's what's cool about this whole thing, okay? This is a pure client server architecture. The game servers run, they establish themselves, they're kind of like known to the architecture. The dealers, they can come and go theoretically, but in a real game, you always would have a dealer there, and there can be 0 to many players. They can sort of come and go, okay? All right? Now, here's the other cool thing is that each of these programs can be run on any node in the system. You can have a system with 100 nodes, like in a big casino. I can simulate all this stuff on my desktop on one node. We've got it configured right now to run 19 games at the same time. Those 19 games will be run by 2 different dealers. One dealer will be dealing to 9 games. Another dealer will be dealing to 10 games. And then we're going to have any amount of players that we want to play. And the players in this configuration are going to be able to play all the games. So there's these things called domains. There's a domain of which servers are out there, which dealers are controlling which servers, and which servers the player can play. These are all sets of what we call domains. And I'm going to show you how these domains are defined really, really in a really great way. So you can go ahead and configure any kind of system you want. You can bring it up with like 3 craps games and 6 roulette tables or anything you want to do. You know, it'll come up with 50 players. You can configure this stuff all really neatly, really concisely with these parameter files, and that's how these domains are actually defined. Okay. All right, enough of the architecture. I believe we can start thinking about maybe playing some system here. We can actually, I'm going to show you how the system actually comes up and runs, okay? I actually got this whole off in less than 30 minutes, which is pretty good. I think I was an hour and a half last time, all right? Yeah, one thing I forgot to show you was this is like a graph of like, this is a small configuration where there'd be like one, let's say we're playing a small game of craps. Will be one craps game being run by one dealer, and let's say he's got 2 players playing at the same time. That's a configuration. Here's one where, you know, there's just different configurations. You can have anything you really want to do, and it's all defined by these parameter files. All right, so let's go ahead and start playing some games, which is really, really cool. Okay, here we go. Still under 30 minutes. All right, so we're back to the menu here. Our testing menu. I call it a menu. It's just a list of these are mostly command procedures and batch files and stuff like that. All right. In order to start the system, I'm going to show you how to start the entire system up. When I mean the entire system, that's what I was talking about, that configuration with 19 games running, all that stuff. All right. The first thing you always have to do, and this is in the all these things I'm telling you about are described in this file here, but it's better just watch what I'm doing here, okay? First thing you always want to do in all cases is to click this here. This one that says 0 AAA. I'm sorry. 0 start DMQ run as admin. Right click that and run as admin. Okay. Go ahead and run it anyway. You only do this the first time. There's our heavenly bells. Say yes. You're going to have to do a lot, okay? And bring up some stuff here. It just brought up this command procedure, because this stuff was all written in the last century. It just tells you that, it tells you to look for this red thing to come up. I don't know if you saw when it actually came up. This here, this icon, it's the DMQ group control process for bus 4000 group 523, which is us. All right. So when you see that red thing come up, and it even gives you instructions on here. It says you can terminate this window when you see the icon. So go ahead and X out of this right here. Hit the X here. Hard to see this with this lousy screen, what I'm doing here. That was the first step. All right. So always start DMQ, and that's how you do it, okay? Next thing you do is right-click this one here. Can't see the whole name here, but all right. This one that says 1A start all via ANS system startup, no prompting. Right click, run as admin. Say yes. Now what this is going to do is going to bring up 2 command windows. All right. And if you saw it, you couldn't see it, could you? Okay. These are command procedure window icons. And it brought up actually 2 of them. I'm going to try to bring them from the other screen over here. Yeah. All right. Brings up this one. This is called the system window because because we're running 19 processes at the same time, and each one of them may have something to say, some kind of error, maybe somebody pulled a plug on something. So you want to funnel all these messages into one kind of common logging system. And because we're running all 19 at a time, in this case, actually running 23 programs at the same time, we're going to want to funnel all this output so we can capture all the messages and handle them in a way that we know what we're doing, okay? We can organized manner, all right? Now later I'm going to show you how to get to these log files and how to, what the system does. At the end of every 24-hour period, it closes them and it leaves like a dated version of the log file, and then it goes ahead and lets you do this day after day. It's meant to be run in a factory, so it's like non-stop production. You can't mess with production ever in a factory. So all this stuff is kind of built to be bulletproof, really. And so you don't want to lose your log files. And so they're captured daily, and then there's facilities to go ahead and let them stay in the system for so many days, like 60 days, 90 days, whatever. And that's all configurable. And there's also facilities to go ahead and access them, to look at them, examine them, copy them, all that other stuff, all right? Now it's hard to appreciate what I'm talking about. We're just looking at this one stupid little thing here, it doesn't even seem to be moving anywhere, this one here. But, hang on a second. Okay, but, let me just back up here a little bit and show you really what's going on here. All right. If you look at this here, there's actually two command procedures up, okay? This one was for this one here. This is called, man, I hate that. You can't even see anything of the white up here. That's kind of weird. But, see, it's kind of, let's see what, no, you still can't see it. That's so weird, man. Jeez. Better without this to be minimized. Hang on a second. I don't understand. This thing's just acting weird. You can see the name of this right here. But when I get rid of this window here, like here, all of a sudden you can't see it. That sucks, man. Sorry about that. So this is still amateur, but it's way better than the last one I did. I don't know how anybody could have sat through that one. Anyway, what I was going to say is, if you hold your mouse over this command box icon, you'll see there's another window came up. We didn't see it, okay? Now, had we gone ahead and clicked this, when the system first started up, we would have seen all the messages here. This is the output of the system logger. By the way, this first window here, you don't. See what happened there. Okay, yeah. God, that's weird. I must have hit this slider. Anyway, you can just minimize this. This window just minimizes. Shit, man. See, we can't see it again. Look, it's weird, man. Oh, gosh. This is all too weird here. Just minimize this window, okay? God, you can't see shit, man. Huh. Minimize this. Get it out of the way. And don't ever close that one, okay? Alright, now this one here is actually the system logger window. I can't. This is so weird. You can't see shit. But anyway, this is a log file. I'm trying to go back all the way to the beginning of this, which we can. And this is how the system came up. It started all these different server processes, one after another. And they got names and all that stuff. But just trust me, that's all the output from every one of these processes all being funneled into this logger window, okay? And again, they get intercepted by data log files. If anything bad happens in the system, you'll see it here. You'll see status changes and stuff like that, all right? Yeah, shit, okay. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, minimize it. All right, now, while we weren't looking, some other stuff came up too, okay? Again, what was supposed to come up was 19 server processes, which did come up, and then 2 dealers. Remember, okay? Here's what's called dealer 1 here. It says dealer 6 here, but it's dealer number 1 in the configuration. All right, and I'm going to show you what this screen is all about actually in a minute. But this also came up here for the same dealer process, and this here is all the games this dealer is dealing to, and you can obviously see this dealer is actually scanning them all every so often. That's how he communicates back and forth. The dealer talks to the servers. The servers don't do anything at all, okay? They don't initiate anything at all. Everything's done by messages that get initiated by the players and the dealers. The dealer keeps firing these messages off to the servers. He says, hey, what's the status? What's the status? Every time you see this green sweep, that's what's happening, okay? And the server responds with, hey, this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. The players, same thing, you know. They connect to the servers, and they start firing messages back and forth. Now, the cool thing is, the servers don't do anything by themselves, okay? Everything's initiated by the players and or the dealers' programs, okay? And you got to know that the players never ever communicate directly to the dealers ever. Everything's done through the servers, all right? Now, if you look here, these are the DMQ group numbers. Remember, we're in DMQ group 523. So we're running all these servers on this same node that we're running these dealers on. But again, these can be run anywhere in the network. Anything can be run anywhere in the network. And this is so this the groups are the actual, what are those? Groups equate to nodes. They equate to boxes, okay? So this computer or that computer. Remember I said the hierarchy was bus, group, queue, where everybody's on the same network. This is the nodes, and these here are the groups. These are the queue numbers here, the DMQ queue numbers, and each queue number is associated with one server program. So here, this here is playing traditional craps, and this is a game called Ricochet. Now, okay, all right, that was all dealer number 1, all games dealer number 1's playing. Now here's dealer number 2, which I'm going to explain that again in a minute. But here's the screen that shows you what dealer number 2, all the servers that dealer number 2 is dealing to. And okay, now here's what's happening here, okay? This gets back to the way the game actually runs. Dealer number 2 is spinning a roulette wheel, and from a roulette wheel is a 1 to 38 randomization range, and from that roulette wheel spin, he's playing all these different games by the mapping technology that my patent allows to happen. My first patent is all about this. It's about taking a randomization range, in this case a roulette spin, and mapping it into multiple games at the same time concurrently. That's what my patent grants me to do. Alright? So dealer number 2 is spinning a roulette wheel and playing all these games. He's even got a way of playing dice off of roulette wheels. And it's kind of really cool the way that works. Dealer number 1, what's he doing? Dealer number 1 is actually, here's dealer number 1 up here, okay? Up here. Dealer number 1, he's throwing 3 dice. He's mapping the 3 dice into several games, okay? He's actually playing some games that play 3 dice, including this one up here called Ricochet. That's actually a game you actually do play with 3 dice. And he's doing this mapping technology. We also got a game called 3 Dice Craps, which I invented this game here, and I'm going to talk about this game a lot. I invented most of these games up here, okay? But the other thing we're doing with the 3 dice, besides playing Ricochet and 3 Dice Craps directly, we're mapping it in a 2 dice roll according to the way that that was described on that Matt Parker video. That was what it was all about. And my particular map is used, the one that's in my patent, is used to perform this mapping into 2 dice. So I'm starting with 3 dice, and we're mapping into 3 dice games and the 2 dice game, all with dealer number 1. All right. Okay. Now let's play some darn games. Let's play some dice, man. Come on. I'm going to start out playing some 3 dice games. And but I'm gonna do it just by, I'm not even gonna show you how the player works. I'm just gonna show you what the dealer does to deal these games and what he's all about. Okay. All right. So here we go. Let me just get some of the stuff out of the way here. We're gonna get dealer 2 out of the way. This is dealer 2's dealer screen out of the way. We don't need this. This is just to let us know what we're connected to and stuff like that. So we're going to say hide here. We're going to hide this. All right. Now this is our dealer program here. We can probably get this menu out of the way too. Okay. All right. Hope this stuff's going to show up okay here. All right. This is our dealer. He's dealing with all those different servers, like I said, and he tries to synchronize the state between all the servers so they're all doing the same things, because if he's dealing concurrently all these games, they all have to be running the same game phases, you know? So the games are all running in what I call a set of game states. All right? There's about 9 game states, and the first state, which is called state 0, is called dealer not logged in. You can let's look at it like as if we're a dealer and he walks up, he's gonna play a game. The first thing he has to do is gotta punch the clock or whatever. We'll get a coffee or whatever. So he's gotta log in, and obviously if you click this, we can obviously configure it to go ahead and require a password or whatever kind of security you would want to go through. Now, before I actually show you what really happens, what happens subsequently in this dealer, I'm going to show you something else here. Go back to this log file here, the system logger. The system logger is showing a log message from all the servers that said, hey, this dealer logged in. Servers 1 through 9, which are the games that this dealer is serving to, the games that this dealer is playing, this dealer is controlling. They all say, yeah, he was logged in. So they all went from state 0 to state 1, which is dealer logged in. And another state, let me decide to get out of the way here. I'll put it over here, okay. All right, now the next state is called game on, which is kind of like a master switch for all the games that this guy is playing, that the dealer is controlling. So game on. And yeah, this guy's, it's a game on over here. All these intercepted log messages here. All right. Now, in a real game of craps or a real game of ricochet or a real game of roulette, you guys all know what the signaling goes. Is that, let's say we're playing a game of craps, and then everybody makes their bets. And at some juncture, the dealer all of a sudden goes, no more bets. He makes a signal with his hand. He goes, no more bets. When he does that, that's a warning to everybody, stop making bets. And then he'll go ahead and hand the dice off to somebody. They'll roll the dice, and the dealers will make all the payouts, and then they'll allow betting. Okay, so between the time he says no more bets and the time they re-allow betting, you're not allowed to touch any of your bets on the table, So this game obviously works the same way. It sends signals off to all the player programs to lock them out, and that's how it works. So I'm going to show you a cycle here where it's going to go ahead and make a roll. So this is like no more bets right now. You have to press this button here. It says all bets down. That's like saying no more bets. Now it does a countdown. It counts down the number of seconds. You see it says countdown, all bets down in 3, 2, 1. and then it's locked out. Okay, it's now in what's called all bets down state. And if you were a player, your screen would turn pink. You wouldn't be able to enter anything. And this came up as well. This here is a 3 dice entry screen, which you can go ahead and enter your dice roll. Let's say the dice was 1, 2, 3, and it says 1, 3, 2. That's because that's the same as 1, 2, 3. Because why? Because these are indistinguishable dice. If you go back to the Matt Parker video, both of his videos, the name of both of his videos are indistinguishable dice. The 3 indistinguishable dice solutions. And if you looked at the hour-and-a-half videos that I put out, I talk all about that stuff. I even talk about a lot of the screens and programs that I'm running here as well. So, where the guy has, what happened was, in a real live game, we could have gave the guy some dice. He could have rolled them, then we could have entered them. We'd say yes, right? And that's it. That's a roll. So now we're back into game on state, and now players are allowed to make more bets. And if you know anything about craps, you'll know. Well, for one thing, here was the 1, 2, 3 that we actually entered. Okay, and in 3 dice craps that adds up to 6 for the point, because 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. But we're mapping that into a 2 dice roll. Okay, and if you have to go back to that highly colored, brightly colored chart that normally indicates somebody not on the hinge persuasion chart, to look at that one to see what the actual mapping was. The numbers 1, 2, 3 mapped in 3 dice, mapped to the numbers 1, 2 in 2 dice. Since we're playing craps, that's a 3, which is a craps. And that's why we're still on the come out roll. Okay, we're still off. The old puck is still up in the old corner of the craps table, and y'all craps table all know craps players all know what I'm talking about there. Now, obviously, I've also got besides being able to do manual rolls, that's how you would run a real casino. You do this manual rolling, and all of my gaming, I don't know if you know it or not at all, is it encourages all live gaming. I like to use electronics, but only to track the bets and to map the dice rolls and other combinations and things like that. I don't actually like to use computers to actually generate the randomizations. I don't like to use electronic randomization because I don't trust it. I think it's got to be something physical, like a real spin of a wheel, or a real throw of the dice, or something like that. Okay, so all my gaming, I sort of encourage that. Okay, but if you do want to play with a random number generator, if you want to run some simulation or something like that, I've got a button here called Start Random. If you click that, it's going to brings up another screen here, and I did discuss this on the Matt Parker video. Okay. This is what I call my auto roller screen, and you make it go faster by clicking that a bunch of times, and let's see how fast we can get this going on this box here. Let's see how fast we can get this going here. Right now, this is kind of like wide open here. That means like don't wait at all. Go as fast as you can. Even though I'm not dealing any players, still should be able to be going kind of fast here. This dealer, he's dealing to 9 games concurrently. Let's see how he does here. Well, it sure seems slow, I gotta tell you. Alright. It's really slow, isn't it? Ways to get a couple going, to actually get an average going here. But here's what's really happening though, okay? What's happening here is I've got this I've still got the users enabled to do these 4-second warnings between the no bet signal and the actual lockdown. So let's try to decrease that. I got a menu up here called table menu. Like sometimes, I don't know if you hear that beep. The dealer program at certain phases of its operation, it locks out in order to make sure that the synchronicity is intact. All right, so it brings up this menu of menus here. There's one called Special Runtime Menu. All right, and it brings up this other one here. All right, and here's this thing that says ABD countdown. That's my slang for all bets down countdown. We'll go ahead and make that less, make it 0, and that way, this is one of the only screens you can actually X out of, by the way. Most of the screens you don't X out of, but this one you can. That should make it go a lot faster. So let's see how fast we're getting going now. Since average over the start of the test, I'm going to go ahead and stop it and restart it. So stop random, see it? And then we'll go ahead and start. Now we're at what's called balls out speed. Let's see how fast we can get this going here. It's we're still dealing to 9 players concurrently, but see what happens. I'm gonna go faster, isn't it? 30, 32 per minute. I think it goes up to maybe 45 a minute on this box here, which is pretty goddamn fast, I gotta say. All right, but we're not playing any players yet. But this is how fast we can potentially run our simulations and stuff. Now, actually, you can configure it so that a dealer only talks to one server at a time. You know, if you really want to run a faster simulation, you don't want to run it over 9 different. You don't want to play 9 games at a time. You only want to simulate crap or something like that, and run simulations on that one game. So you can actually get this going to maybe 60 per minute at fastest speed. If you're only playing to one, maybe 70 per minute. If you're only dealing to one program, one game at a time. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to bring a player up and show you what that's looking like. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to stop this test I'm running here, and we can kill that if we want to. Again, you don't want to be killing this, but kill that one there. Now, just to show the features of this, I'm going to be starting a new player up, and I'm going to want to maybe start it up in, let's say in point off state. Okay, so just to show you some of the features, you can manually do that. You can manually change the state of it, the last point roll and stuff like that. We can make it like the point is off if we wanted to manually. In order to do that, you hit this. It says clear on point. Click that, okay, and it comes up. It goes, wait a minute, you're still in game on state. That's right, you can't do this with game on state. So go ahead and take game off, and there's the game off. See, knew about those, okay, in the master log file, and then we'll go ahead and say clear on point, just to show you that we could. Oh, sorry, I clicked it when it's off. Okay, just show you that it could be done. Okay, all right. I'll put it back in game on state, but I'm gonna have to take it off in a minute. All right, now in order to start a player up, remember I was telling you that players, they've got a domain of what games they can talk to. So you're gonna want to start a player up that's got the right domain. And I've actually got a command procedure to do this. And just to give you a review of where we're at, all I've done so far is I clicked this, which brought up these 2 logger servers. All right. It brought up the 2 logger servers, and it brought up all our dealer windows, which are all these guys here. Okay. And I'm sorry. Wait. this one here just started DMQ, okay, which just brought up this icon here, okay. That's it. And then this one here was the system startup. It started these command windows and these dealer windows, okay. So that's all I did to start so far, okay. But now we want to start a player up. So I've got a way to start a player up. It's configured to talk to all these different games right here. It says, you can see it. It's for a start one player all games. Another bash procedure. Go ahead and run as admin. Okay. Anyway, all right. Now we brought up our little thing down here, and this what it's gonna start these up on the other side here. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you something that right now one of the features of this game. This is a bit of a tangent here. Is that this dealer can be configured to what's called auto enable. When these player programs come up, they have to be enabled by the dealer. It's almost when you walk up to a crap table and you put your money down, they have to acknowledge who you are, kind of thing like that. Okay, and you don't want to walk up and just throw money out there. You can do that too, but usually they have to like know who you are on the table. So I'm saying they have to kind of enable the player. Right now, this dealer is configured to auto enable, and I'm going to show you how to change that. Okay, so hit table menu. Here's our menu of menus. Hit special runtime menu. Brings up this one over here, and there's something here that called auto enable. We're going to hit auto enable off. Okay, and that's going to make sure that that we're not going to enable this guy automatically when he first comes up, and that way I'll be able to show you what happens when the player program comes up on this other screen here. Okay, all right. So we're done with this. All right. So now we can go ahead and click this thing here. Okay. All right. Say yes. It's going to come up on this other screen here. But I think I'm going to have time to swing it over this other one because it's not going to enable itself. Okay. So, all right. Sure. Oh man, I can't move it. Crap. All right. Well, you can move it. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. All right. Here's what it is. You can't move this part of it. Okay, but you can move this part right here. And as soon as the dealer is going to enable him. Now, this here is actually the domain of games that this player can play. And notice that it's not limited. Oh wait a minute, you can't see that. Jeez, that's crazy, man. This is the domain of games that this player can play. And notice that it's not limited to Dealer 1. He can play all the games in Dealer 1 and Dealer 2. And see the status message, it even tells you that it's waiting to be enabled. Okay, again, this thing over here is I can't move it because it's locked because we have to enable it yet. Usually when something's pink, that means you can't touch it. It won't respond to anything. All right. So now we have to get the dealer to enable him. Okay. Now, does that happen? All right. No, the other thing I want to show you is this. Now, look at this here. Look at this. You see this? This in use went to 1, in error went to 1. It's still pink. It shows this player came up. Now, how does it know that? Because every time the dealer talks to a server, he goes, "Hey, who's logged into you?" And the server goes, "Well, he's logged into me in here." So that's how the dealer knew that the player came up. Okay. Now the dealer has to enable this guy, and in order to do that, there's buttons. You can either enable him individually here. It's not working, or here, it's not working. Why aren't these working? These buttons are enabled until the game is in game off state. So go ahead and game off. log file. First of all, when the player came up, it says the message says that the player came up there and went ahead and access the system. And here's our game off states that we're now in, okay? And now we can go ahead and enable them right here. Enable. And now this thing's going to go crazy. It's going to start downloading at a really high speed. Let's try to get it over here if I can show you here. And see, you can't really see it, okay? But it's paying this. It's go ahead and it's bringing this game up over here. Oh, it's up already, okay? And that's it. All right. And the other little bar thing up there, it was saying, "Yeah, I can't believe this. How come it's like this? Shit, like white shot on me." Yeah. All right. But that little bar thing over there was a progress. It was showing you how many records were being downloaded, because it does the definitions over the network. That allows the server to go ahead and be able to change the definitions on the fly without having to reload the software at the server. Okay, now here's what came up. What is this? This is the game of Ricochet, written by a guy named James P. Bowling, who I actually know. I actually have a lot of correspondence with this guy. Actually, this guy uses this here to demo his own software, okay? I gave him some other demo stuff many years ago, so I know who he is, and we sort of, we loosely work together, not really, okay? But he knows who I am. He's actually seen all this stuff. Anyway, this game was actually played in casinos. They used to play it in Las Vegas. They used to play it out in Henderson at a casino called the Reserve, which it was a really beautiful casino. I actually talk about this in my other stuff, okay? All right. Now, how does this game played? Well, I gotta tell you, man, all this stuff up here is kind of standard for all games that are always played. It's kind of like your layout here. And this here is the layout of the game itself. If you don't know how it's played, you know, right now our bet stack is $1, okay? 1 unit. And so let's go ahead and just push a bunch of buttons. Let's just say you walked up to a roulette table and know how it works. Kind of looks like a roulette table, doesn't it? We'll push a bunch of buttons here and see what happens, okay? And I'll try to explain it along the way. It's a really cool game. Now, we did that. Now we have to have a 3-dice roll happen. So that happens with our dealer over here. And I'm going to be moving the dealer off to another screen so it's out of the way. But right now, you know what we have to do. By the way, we have to be in game on state. And the other thing I wanted you to notice is that, see up here, it knows how much the guy has wagered. It says 6 up here. $6. 6. And that is also the what's called the balance, the wager balance. That's how much he's wagered, okay? All right. So the other thing I want to do before I go, I want to go ahead and change it back, because remember we left him without any all bets down signaling time. So we'll make it more like a real casino. We'll give him like 3 seconds or something like that, okay? All right. Now, all bets down. No more bets. Click the button. It says on here, okay, we're now in all bets down state. You see a certain thing, we can't touch the screen right now, okay? You know, right? Okay. And now, it's waiting for your roll here. Where's our roller? It's missing. There it is. It's hiding on us. 1, 3, 2, something like that. Yes. We'll see what happens here, okay? I'm gonna get this dealer out of the way here. It says waiting for all payouts, and then it'll continue on, okay? Now, what happened in the game here? We actually won $1, believe it or not. Because what happened was we lost this bet here because that's what's called a one-time bet. You see where it says OT on a lot of these things? It says OT. That means a one-time bet. And just to let you know what a one-time bet is, like all the bets in roulette are all one-time bets. Some of the bets in craps are one-time bets. Like let's say the big red or the hop bets, they're one-time. It means you win them, you lose them, that's it. Doesn't matter what happens. They won't last in the subsequent rolls. Bets that can last in the subsequent rolls, those are called continuation bets, okay? So you got one-time bets and you got continuation bets. Now, this is a one-time bet, and this actually was a one-time bet here. We won this one. Now, if you ever play roulette, you know, if you put your money down on, let's say, the red, and you win, they leave it up there. So that's what we're doing here. We're kind of leaving it up here. But actually, this is a one-time bet. So, like in craps, they probably would have taken it down. Like in craps, if you're playing like the big red, you make that bet, they leave it up there for you. That's why it's being left up here, okay? But it's not a continuation bet. So it's kind of a little bit confusing that why it's being left up here. It's not. It actually is a one-time bet. That was a one-time bet. So we lost $1 there, and what happened here is actually we won $2 here because it paid 2 to 1 because it happened to be a 4, 5, 6, and that's just the way this bet operates. If this bet is a 4, 5, 6, then you win 2 to 1. So we won $2 on this one. We lost 1 on that one. And our net gain on the roll was $1, and now we still have $5 wagering left up for the next roll here. Okay. Hope you can understand everything I said there. The thing that makes this game totally cool, it's a combination of craps and roulette at the same time. And it kind of looks like roulette the way these bets are out, where you can bet like corners or splits, you know, the way roulette works. But the cool thing about this game is it's got these continuations. I also got another word for that. I also call them persistent bets. So far we've got one-time bets, which are, you know, they come and go. Like all the bets in roulette are all one-time bets. Some of the bets in craps are. Some of the bets in Ricochet are one time. They all say, you know, OT to indicate they're one time. But you've also got these ones that are persistent. They persist because if you don't win them or lose them, you can also just let them ride for the next roll. Okay, that's kind of thing, right? Now you actually got these kind of bets in craps as well. A good analogy of a persistent bet in craps would be like the place bets, because if you don't 7 or if you don't hit the number, then you let them go to the next roll. They persist. Okay, all right. So what are they persisting? What are they waiting for? What are they persisting for? This is like the game of craps. I mean, the game of craps. Let's say you make a place bet on something, and then you wait until you either hit it, in which case you win, or if a 7 comes, which is called a table out, in which case you lose. Okay, so this is the same thing, except it's played with 3 dice. So the table out in this game, instead of the number 7, it has to be a 6 and a 1, and then the third has to be the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. 6 and 1, and then the third number has to be a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. I'm sorry, a 2, 3, 4, or 5. All right. That's what's called a table out in this game. Okay, or there's other table outs in this games. This is also a table out, and this is a table out. So 111 is a table out, 666 is a table out, and then any 6 and 1, where the third digit is the numbers 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Those are the table outs. It winds up there's 24 total table outs in this game. I better check that before I make sure I know what I'm talking about here, okay? If you go to spikersystems.com, this is the main website, and then you click information page here, information page number 2. Click that. This is what I went through on my presentation for Matt Parker. If you click this one here, this is called the Ways table for 2 dice. This is the Ways table for 3 dice. And if you want to count how many outs there are, if you want to add those up, you have to add up how many combinations you get out of a 612 plus a 613 plus a 614 plus a 615, okay? All those 4 combinations there all are what's called singles. In other words, they're all different numbers there. That means each of them has 6 ways of making each one of those, okay? So 6 times 4 is 24, right? And then plus you got this on here. On the end here you got the 111, which is the 3-point, and plus the 666, which is the 18-point, okay? There's one way of each of those. So that's 24 for the 6 ones. And then for the 6-1, they're called 6-1 no pair. Why do you think they're called 6-1 no pair? Because a 6 and a 1 and a 6, that would be a pair, you know? And so that's what they're called. But you have to add those 24 to these 2. That makes 26 total outs in this game. 26 out of 216. So if you compare that to the game of craps, which actually has, if you the equivalent in 3 dice in craps, it would have had 36 out of 216. So that's why this game here, man, this game of Ricochet, it's a great game, man, because you get these really, really long rolls between table outs, because there aren't as many table outs as in the game of craps. That's why it's a great game. Used to be until they stopped making it. They stopped playing it. The reason they stopped playing it was because the cycle time was too long on it, man. And actually, that's why I invented this game here. I was in Vegas and I saw him playing this game. I said, man, the cycle time is too long. I used to program assembly lines for Ford Motor Company, you know. I said I could make an automated system and cut the cycle time down on this to make it a reasonable game. Sometimes the payouts would get so big because you get these big, huge, long runs, man. You gotta be rolling for like a half an hour in this game, you know, and then you get these big, long runs. So it took forever for the dealer to make the payouts, and that's why this game was, you know, they don't play this game anymore. It became unreasonably slow to play it for productivity for the dealers. Okay, but if they had this electronic way, they could have done it. And they probably should, man. We could have made $1 million, $1 billion in Macau if we'd have put it out there. We should have done that. We talked about it anyway. Anyway, it's a really cool game to play. I used to even have my own strategy, man. Let me go clear. This clear button clears all your bets out. I even got a button here. It's called Marty's Special 13 Bet. You click this button here, it makes a series of bets here. And this series of bets that's made here, every roll that's possible, you're going to win in every roll no matter what, except when you have a table out. So it's kind of a cool way to play, okay? The other thing I was going to say, just for these, oh shoot, for the color coding on this thing, you know, is that, wait a minute. What happened? Shit. Sorry. It turned when it's done with the payouts, it kind of lets you know what happened. With the colors, red's the loser and green's the winner usually. Okay, that was pretty obvious there. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna try a little thing with Marty's 13 special, and let's see what happens with this here. Okay. All right. Okay, we're gonna start a run here. Let me get my bet back real quick. Yeah, there's a winner there. See that? We're winning. Oh, gotta get my bet back. Oh, gotta get in time. We're doing good so far. We're up $7, man. Look at that. See, we're winning on every roll. I spent so many hours in that casino playing this game. Well, we lost. We just lost this one here. It's okay. We still won. Okay, we're up, man. We're up $10 already. We win. We win in every roll, no matter what, except for the table out. No, there's the old table out. Shit, man. 6-1 and a 2. All right, enough of this, man. Kind of fun stuff, man. All right, give me a second here. Yeah, so we lost $3. See, this is the way the game works, man. We went like a whole bunch of rolls before we had that table out, but then we had the table out. This is a real fun game to play. And these here, they pay a lot. These bets up here. All right. All right. Now, let's just say that we're tired of playing this here, okay? And so let's play a different game now. Let's go across the aisle and play a different game, okay? You see this button here? Click that button there, and it brings up this screen here, okay? Now we can choose another game we want to play, and let's go ahead and play some traditional craps, regular craps, okay? So you click this button here, right? And it's bringing up this game here, but we have to enable it. The dealer has to enable it, remember it? So I'm showing the dealer here, but just to let you know, this player is transferred from the Ricochet table over to the craps table. The transfer is in yellow, okay? So you transfer his balance over and all that stuff. You would. So we have to enable him. So remember, game off. And talks about the transfer and all that stuff. That here's our login to the craps table. Here's our game off for all the games we're dealing to, and we want to hit enable. Okay, and he goes crazy. He really goes crazy. I mean, you can't even see over here. The screen is being built up over here, and it's doing all the definitions. Okay, it's loading these definitions. It's painting the screen at the same time. All right. Okay. Alright. And when it's all done, it looks like this here, okay? That should be somewhat familiar to you. Should look pretty much like a craps table. And everybody knows what's the... Well, I want to point something out. Is that this here is the game of Northern Nevada craps. The game is a little bit different than the game of craps in that the game of craps, you're going to have like a pass line. You'll have a separate come line, okay? This, in Northern Nevada craps, you don't have separate pass lines and come lines. In Northern Nevada craps, it's done on a combination line. Craps, the come line, and the pass line and the come line are the same line here. If it was a craps table, not a Northern Nevada craps table, you'd make your bet here, okay, and you put your odds behind here, okay, and then if you made a come bet, you'd put the money there, and then they would take the money up there and they'd bring it up to the come line here, okay. In Northern Nevada craps, the pass line comes up to the come line as well, and it's way better than craps because with craps, the money they're keeping it right near their hands and stuff like that. They can try to change the bet and shit like that. This is a lot safer. You make your pass line bet, they move it up to here where you can't grab and change it around, you know? So I think it's better that way. It's safer that way, and it's also way easier to program. And so, and the same on the don't. The don't doesn't have a don't come bet. The DC is the don't pass. Same line here. Same logic. You make that bet, you don't leave it right in front of you. They move it up over to here to the come line over here, okay? All right. The bets you see in orange, like this one here, and all the orange here is all got to do with my second pattern, which is called True Place Bets. So for now, let's not even worry about this. But like I said in one of my videos, I said if you try to make this bet now, nothing would happen. If we try to make a bet here, let's say rock, paper, scissors, try to bet on paper, it ain't going to do nothing. It tells you here, up in the corner here, it says you can't make this bet right now, okay? And I'll explain how these bets work, okay? But that's going to be separate. So right now, let's just talk about this just being a regular crap game. And let's have a little bit of fun. Play a little bit of craps here, okay? All right, so the first bet everybody makes in craps is what, you know? The most obvious bet would be the, oh, there we go, man, shit. I lost my mouse. All right, sorry about that. You see that? Everybody wants to make the pass line bet, okay? Obviously, it's standard bet and pass. But we don't want to make a dollar bet. So let's make a $25 bet. I've got a preset for that. These are all called presets. So we'll preset $25. That becomes our bet stack, okay? And then whatever the bet stack, whatever you press, that's going to make that bet for you. We'll click that. All right, $25. They do, okay? $25 pass let, and let's see what happens, okay? Let's roll some dice over here. Now, as I do this presentation, I actually do random presentations here, so I don't like to have some kind of canned thing as I try to talk about this. So let's see what happens when we roll some dice here. So there's our dealer number one. You can see everything's all, we're all logged in. Shows our $25 balance up there. Our $25 wagering balance that we've got. And we're going to go ahead and say, start random. Oh, got to be in game on state. Okay, sure. Game on. Alright. Start random. Let's see what happens with this, man. Alright. Sorry about that. Okay, we rolled a 12. So that, get the dealer out of the way here. Game up is a 12 here. And that means that we lost, right? What happened was I was kind of slow and let the next roll come in. This should have turned red here. It would have turned red. But I guess I was too slow to actually show you that. But the other thing, it also, in light green, see light green? It's showing you what would have won, you know? Like the 12, so this game's unique. We can actually place the 2 or 3 or the 11 and 12. So the 12 place would have won, the field would have won, the hop, the 12 would have won, any craps would have won. You see them all? Alright, okay. So we lost here. This would have been red, but I was too slow because the next bet cycle came up, and so it took that off. So, alright, let's try it again. Try another $20 bet and see what happens, man. That's the way it works, you know. Yeah, you gotta back up, get a good start, man. Shit. Gotta get a good start, baby. All right. All right. It was a 10, and this being Northern Nevada rules, it takes our past bet and it treats it like a come bet, so moves it up to the come line. Here it is. And now, this bet here, you're not allowed to take this bet down. This bet is what's called a committed bet. It's also called a contract bet. It's actually a form of a persistent bet. It's a persistent bet that's also got a flavor to it. It's also called committed. These only occur in the game of craps, really. All right, or this game, or crapless craps, or furious craps. Bets that you can't take down once you make them. If you try to take it down, let me show you what happens. See this clear? I'll try to clear this bet. You can say clear all. That means try to clear all the bets. I'll click that, and it gives you a little warning up here. It says bet reduction is not allowed for come 10 because you can't take that down. Okay. Cool. Now we all know that this bet here, it's going to persist until either a 10 is rolled, which is the 10 is repeated in a subsequent roll, in which case we win even money, or if a 7 is rolled before that happens, we lose it. And that's the way this game is played. And so you walk in a casino, you don't know what the hell is going on. You sit there with your finger up your butt and you wait for it to come, you know, which might take a long, long time. Let's see what happens. Oh, I can't believe this shit. I do not believe this, man. Hang on, wait. Man, did you see what happened there? We actually won that bet, man. We won that bet. That 10 won, okay? They paid even money. And that was cool, eh? I was so excited about hitting that 10, I forgot to make another bet. It doesn't matter, I can make it right here. I can make a come bet, okay? We're on the 9 point, but that's okay. And let's see what happens over here. Some more rolls going here. Oh, that's so weird. What happened there? God. I hit the 9, but I wasn't on it because I was too slow to make it. You see, but I'm on the come 9, and I can't take it down. Okay. Now, while you're waiting for your point to be made, everybody knows what you want to do is you want to make some odds bets, some free odds bets, and you all know how the odds work. I don't want to have to tell you about that. So everybody knows that on the 9 point, you can make some odds on that. I'm just going to hit this a shitload of time and see what happens. So I keep hitting it, and that's all it'll do. It'll allow $100 in odds. That's the most it'll allow because this is like what's called the triangle odds, 3, 4, 5. 4 times odds allowed on the 5 and 9. So that's $100, and it's yellow because it's off on the come out roll. And now let's go ahead and roll the dice again, see what happens. Well, we didn't make a pass bet. Okay, we're on a 6 point, so it didn't really affect us. And this turn from yellow to green means it's an active bet. Yellow means it's like it's like on hold, not working, as they say. And we could place the 6, or we could just try to make another come bet. So we're on a come bet. We're not on point. We've got a $25 base on our come 9 with $100 free odds. See what happens. Countdown 1, 0. No more bets. Okay. Don't be a 5, so moved up to the come 5. We could buy odds there if we wanted to. We can go max odds. What do you think of max odds? They're obviously $100. You just keep pressing this, and after it hits the max, it starts warning you you can't put any more out there, but that's okay, right? And keep rolling. See what happens. That was a yo. Trying to make a yo bet. Yeah. Too late. Cramps. Anyway, you guys know how this plays out. Now I want to show you guys some features. Obviously, we hit that 5 point there. That's kind of nice. Won some money there. Shows how much we won. Wager balance. Our balance is up there. We're doing pretty good in this roll, actually. Let me show you some features here now. While we're waiting around for this come to hit. Let's just say I want to make this pass line. But I want to make it every time. I don't want to sit around and wait for it to happen, okay? I gotta wait for that to happen, okay? Give me a second here. Slow the action down a bit. Alright, so I'm saying I want to make a pass line. I want to make it every time, okay? I don't want to sit there and have to make it manually. I got a button that lets me do that. It's called, I got a term I call it anchoring. You want to anchor it like it's always there, you know? So I got a thing up here that says anchor bet. You click anchor bet, and then you click the bet you want to anchor, which is this one here, and that's it. And we can go ahead and let the game go now. I believe it should make this bet every time. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, it won, and it made it like a lighter pink because it's a winner. See, now it went to the come, but it reestablished this bet again, re-anchored it. So it'll make it every time. It keeps making it. So this is called balls out come strategy if you want to play it like that with pushing one button. That's a nice feature. Now you may only want to make it on the come out roll. That's more reasonable, right? So I got another button for that there, which is over here. I think you hit this like this. And I'm pretty sure now, yeah, it'll only make this bet on the come out roll from now on, okay? So we have to wait for a come out roll to make it again. That's kind of a nice way to play. You just put that there, and you know, you're making just a come bet. I'm sorry, a pass line bet. You know, every time. See, it just made it. That's come out roll to make a pass line bet. So it's not going to make any come bets, any subsequent. So it's going to make the pass line bet, and that's it. And you get, so that's kind of nice doing that, right? Got some nice buttons for that stuff, right? I got to tell you guys, in the last video I made, I screwed it up. I couldn't figure out which of these buttons to press, man. I wasted like 10 minutes just trying to figure out how it worked, man. So sorry about that if you watched the other one. I got some other features I want to show you. For one thing, these up here, these are presets, you know. If you're making some weird bet like $37 or whatever, then you can actually store that if you want these call these custom pickers. So let me try to get to 37 bucks and feel it locks out when you, and if you want to store that, you can store it like in this custom picker here or whatever, and then you could just anytime you want to do it, then after that you can just hit 30, you know, this here, and it puts that back into our bet stack, and you can use that for bets. 37 bucks on the pass line, come line rather, and now we got a $37 come 9 working. All right. And obviously these things up here, it's like clear bet or put on hold. If you click these, then it brings up a little bar down here, and that lets you do individual ones, or the one on top lets you do them all. Like if you hit clear bet, then you can clear an individual bet, or the one on top would be clear all. And the reason, by the way, let me make a best choice and stuff here. Just to show you what's going on here. If you hit clear bet to clear an individual bet, and this thing came up, okay, I can clear an individual bet now, okay? See, what happened was if there isn't any more bets to make, then that goes away, which is actually what happened there, okay? Just I'm kind of slow to show you that. But, so that's how these upper and lower things work. So, same with help, you know, you hit the, now, see, the white bar means anything that you touch will show you the help on that, or whatever. See, got the help thing on there, okay? Alright. Then you can just hit this bet, and these are more or less times 10 divided by 10. Got your custom pickers. Alright, that's pretty straightforward, right? And obviously, Casino would have their own layout for that. Their own way of doing that. Alright, let me show you some neat features here. Let's say that you want to know, let's say you're a crazy motherfucker. You walk in totally drunk. You say, I want to make every fucking bet that I can make on this goddamn table right now, okay? I happen to have a button for that. It's called the blaster. Actually, this button is actually used for testing, you know, to see what happens when you make all the bets, to make sure our capacities are all handled. When you hit that button, it comes up with this thing here, okay? This is our first button screen. It's called the blaster, see? And it's the number of bettable bets you want to make. You know, you're going to want to make like one of every one, okay? And then if you hit this thing called bet now, it'll try to make all these bets here. Okay, let me slow this action down a little bit so we don't walk all over ourselves. Okay, so let's see what happens. Boom, made all these bets here. It tells you how many bets it made. It made 40 bets. Out of 359 available ones, like only 4 of them were actually makeable at this juncture of the game. Certain bets you can't make. You won't even let you jump into a come bet. You know, actually, if you're in a casino, they'll actually let you do that. Let you walk up and bet, like, you know, put your money in a pass line after the bet's already established. You know, but we don't allow that here because I don't want to lose too much money like that. But so there's certain bets that are bettable at certain phases of the game, and that's what this button's all about. And just to show you how most of these buttons work, is it brings up an initial screen like this. It's like you make establish like the number of occurrences of it, and then you press hide, and it hides. When you press hide, then this button then turns green. It says make all bets, and this other button comes up here. It says show the blaster. Okay. So then you click that, and it got this one back. Just get back to the screen here, okay? So that's just how all these buttons work, all right? That's our first button called the blaster. Let's go ahead and let this run and see what happens with this, believe it or not. It's be kind of fun. $37 across all the bets. Here we go. Oh, well, what happened there? Well, it wasn't as bad as I thought, I guess. Any time you see red, that's not good, right? Anyway, okay. I guess we did lose a bunch of money there. We won a bunch of money here on $592 there. Shit. That was on a place 11, believe it or not. I'll let this run and see what happens, man. No, we're making money already, man. Oh, we still have a bunch of wagers though, I think. Okay. No subbing out. Oh God! See, I said the goddamn word, Jesus. Now, that drunk guy. He kind of got burned a little bit, so. And he says, "Well, I don't want anything all of them." Kind of slurring his words there, like I am actually really. He goes, I want to just make a few random bets. Oh, I got a button for that one too, right here. It's called the randomizer, right here. Okay, we'll press that. It works. The button works exactly like the blaster button. Brings up a screen like this. How many random bets do you want to make? Let's make 4 random bets. You can test it right here if you want to test it, or you can just hit hide, like I said, and you hit hide, then. The button turns green. It says make 4, and then the randomizer button comes up as well. All the buttons kind of work the same like that. So now you can press this and make 4 more, 4 more. I'll get better clear all our bets. Make sure we know what the hell we're doing here. Okay, we're good. Okay. So every time we press that, it'll make 4 random bets of the bettable bets. That's kind of fun, right? Okay. That's a nice feature, right? If you like to experiment around with certain configurations of bets, I got some buttons here to really help you out. These are called radio buttons. They're just like the buttons on your radio. You can store or recall your station. So you can hit store 1 for your first radio button, and that'll store the configuration that we currently have out here right now, okay? And it adds up to $296. Tells you how much it is right there. Yeah. And so now we can go ahead and play the game. And if we happen to 7 out or something like that, then we can recall what our bets were right here in this recall thing here. Okay. And that's kind of fun, man. What happened? What happened? Well, we did 7 out. Jesus Christ. All right, so now we can recall. Okay? Get them right back like that. Okay? Cool? The other thing you can do, if you really want to go crazy with this, I got this really cool thing called Add to Layout. You click that, it'll add what it was in your radio button to the current layout. It'll add it to it. So there you go. Now we're talking big bucks. See what our wagering went to? Every time we hit this, we're adding another $296 to it. So 666 plus 2, see 962, going up like that. These are really heavy bets. Now, the other thing you can do is you can use more than one radio button. So let's say let's say we got a button called "Let's Go Crazy" button, or I'm going to do a bunch of add to layouts, and then we're going to store that in number 3. Well, that's $2,000 in this one bet here. Okay, every time we hit this, man, we better just cool off for a second and see what happens with this roll here. We're actually up money. Look what our balance is, man. We're actually up. Okay, we're doing good so far. We could take all our bets down, be up that money. See what happens. We're working out pretty darn good, isn't it? I gotta say, man. Now, like I said, if you get a little bored, you know, we had add a layout now. We'll add another. We'll go up to like $4,000 or more. Okay, let me try it once. See, $3,700. Oh shit! The worst time. Oh man. But now we'll see. Oh, that was pretty bad, actually. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get recall 3 right back. We're betting all big time now, man. I'll go a couple of these. Got $5,000 up there now. That's too much, but that's what happens when you go crazy in the casino, man. You're drunk, you stumble in, that's what happens. Lose your fucking house like that. Trying to win your money back. But it's fun doing it like this, isn't it? Alright, I got one more thing to talk about, and it's really the coolest thing ever, okay? I got something called the Bet Maker, which lets you make strategies that can be pretty complicated, and you can actually program strategies, and you can even have conditional programming. You can see, like, if I'm on a 6 point, then do this. All right, that's going to be next.